Welcome to Whether or Not with Pilot Bob, Episode 2. Welcome back, Pilot Bob. We've had a lot of good feedback on your first Whether or Not presentation, designed to help the private VFR pilot make that go, no-go decision. Let's say this pilot has enjoyed making use of an airplane, gathered some 500 hours of flying time, maybe has his or her commercial license, and is now making progress on an instrument rating. What is the main advantage of the pilot having completed the instrument rating?
The instrument rating makes the use of an aircraft so much more practical because the pilot can now use the plane in most weather conditions. However, since the pilot intends to fly in most weather conditions, the pilot needs more skills related to understanding just what those conditions will be. After all, not all weather is flyable.
Right on. Where do we start?
Let's go back to the original graphic showing a Cessna flying above the clouds in smooth, cool air towards ever increasingly violent weather. So all the basics still apply.
Can you remind us of those basics again?
Sure. First, fly as early in the day as is comfortable because it takes time for the quote evil spirits in the atmosphere to wind up and develop all that potential energy. Second, pay close attention to the relative humidity along your route of flight. In my experience, if the relative humidity is less than 51%, there's not enough moisture in the atmosphere to become a problem. As the relative humidity increases, so does the potential for violent weather. And third, there needs to be a source of lifting in the atmosphere. The lifting is what starts the chain reaction of a moist air mass changing into water or rain, and then changing again into a solid or ice. And each of those changes releases a lot of energy, which is very problematic for the flight.
Okay, so the graphic shows the Cessna flying toward a thunderstorm, a towering cumulus cloud that is highly developed with an anvil and lots of rain lifting and falling within the cloud. How does the pilot measure the chances that he is headed for something like that, which should surely be avoided?
The pilot uses two gauges, the lifted index and the K index, to estimate the safety of continuing along that path of flight. Both of these indexes are available from flight service during the weather briefing, although you'll probably have to ask for them. The lifted index estimates atmospheric instability and the potential for convection or lifting up to 18,000 feet. The K index predicts the likelihood of air mass thunderstorms. The K index is a measure of thunderstorm potential, but not of severity. The lifted index gives you an indication of severity. So using the two together is very useful.
So this is getting a little bit technical. Can you simplify the use of these two indexes so that pilots can use them without needing a degree in meteorology?
Sure, that's what I'm here for. Looking at the lifted index table, if you were given a lifted index of -6, say, that indicates that there's large instability in the atmosphere. That isn't good. However, if in your weather briefing you were told that combined with a lifted index of -6, the K index was, say, 28. 28 indicates widely scattered thunderstorms. That tells me that if you're in an aircraft with a service ceiling of at least 25,000 feet and with onboard radar, you could easily navigate around the widely scattered but pretty violent thunderstorms and safely complete your flight. So that's the key to using the index together. Two cautions. First, the lifted index is primarily for use during warm weather. It's nearly useless for forecasting winter precipitation or in polar air masses. The second caution is the K index is a measure of thunderstorm potential, not of severity. The K index cannot be used in mountainous areas or if the 850 millibar level, which is approximately 5,000 feet above sea level, is near the surface. So in high terrain, the K index isn't of use.
So, do you mind giving us one more practical example of how to use this information?
Sure. If you look at the chart below, which combines the lifted index and the K index, you'll see that if, for example, you were during your weather briefing, you were told that the lifted index was -7, that would indicate pretty strong convection and potential for strong storms. However, if also in that weather briefing you were given a K index of 33, say, the K index of 33 says that the coverage of thunderstorms is between 61 and 80% of the sky. Well, again, if you're in a plane with onboard radar, uh, there are strong thunderstorms out there, but at least 40% of the sky has no thunderstorms in it. And so with weather radar, you can navigate around and through the thunderstorm areas and safely complete your flight by avoiding the parts of the sky that have the really bad weather. Personally, I would prefer not to fly if the probability of thunderstorms exceeds 60%. That means there's less than 40% of the sky that's flyable. And while this is pretty technical information, I hope it gives the instrument pilot the background to make a timely go no go decision.
Well, this is great information, Pilot Bob. Thank you for all of this great wisdom, and we'll catch you next time on Whether or Not with Pilot Bob.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Safe flying.